I've always kind of had an interest in discipline and spanking.
It's what makes me comfortable.
You have to know how not to get hurt.
It could have to do with their childhood.
You have to know how to please the person you're with. It's actually quite a lot to learn.
I get hate mail almost every day. I've gotten feminist people get a hold of me and tell me that I am wrong and that I should have a choice, and what they don't realize that this is my choice. This is what I've chosen for me. This is the path that I like, and it's fun. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, is I'm doing this all on my own. No one's forcing me to do it.
1, 2.
If I could get through this, I could be who I wanted to be.
4, 5, 6.
I'm Allie Hayes. Hi, I'm Lillian Starr.
Everybody in the scene knows me as DK.
I'm Dear Serenity.
My name's Louisa.
I'd call myself a sadomasochist.
Kyle Johnson.
I am known as a submissive here in Los Angeles.
I got involved in the lifestyle, gosh, I think I must have been about 9, 10.
I'm in training, so I'm still learning about BDSM.
I started very young.
I guess I was just discovering my sexuality, trying to find where I belong.
I absolutely adore my life. It's a little different than most people's, but it keeps me entertained.
When I was about 12, 13 years old, I would help neighbor girls or neighborhood girls out with homework and such, and I would spank them if they weren't going up to standards.
Without going into the direct detail, I've found myself, questioning, some of the theories I used on her.
The first experience in the bedroom was pretty intense. We weren't even having full, sexual intercourse or anything. It was just playing around, and I don't know what made me do it, but I looked up at him. He had me by the throat, and I looked at him, and I was like, hit me. No joke. I was just like, hit me, and he goes, okay, and he backhanded me so hard that it busted my lip. And I don't know, this is the part that sounds weird to most people, but it was honestly, it's like I looked up and it's like the heavens opened up and the angels are singing, and I'm like, finally. Because most of the time when I've asked a guy to do that, they give you the little, and you're like, come on, what is that? And the fact that he took, I asked, he delivered, and he really delivered, and that made me go, okay, this man is not willing to hold back. Finally someone stepped up to the plate and can help me. Because it takes a lot to handle me.
The very first time we tried bondage or any more than spanking kind of stuff in the bedroom, he had tied me up to my hands were tied to a filing cabinet. And I was completely exposed on our bed. The filing cabinet was next to our bed. And he took a belt out and started whipping my bottom and my thighs. And it hurt a lot, but like I said, I'm not a masochist, but it was really exciting for me.
It actually brings me closer as well to my husband, who is my dom. So it becomes a nice family.
In our situation, we have house rules, more or less, which they vary depending on what we both feel she needs to work on.
I have kind of a potty mouth. Sometimes I'll ask for more cigarettes than I'm supposed to only have up to 3 a day, and if I ask for more.
The biggest thing I get punished for is I talk back. I'm the biggest brat I think you will find, and I know that. So I definitely get punished for talking back.
A lot of subs that I've worked with have been bratty. My wife and I have about a 10-year split between us. She's a big brat. I got to instill that power in her. It's part of the piece is what made me fall in love with her in the first place. So I cannot ever take that away.
Oh, I think I said something, I can't remember exactly to him, but I think I snapped back to my husband, and I ended up getting taken over the knee. Like, he called me over, told me to pull down my pants and get over his knee, and I took 20 whacks, I think. I lost count because he kept starting over. So I don't know how many I took altogether.
So when she breaks the house rules, and house rules would typically consist of trying to work on cussing, cutting down on smoking because it's still an issue she struggles with, but she's definitely cut down from a pack or two a day. She maybe smokes 1 or 2 cigarettes a day, so it's definitely been a big change for her.
Sometimes he'll give me more, but I have to take a little bit of a punishment for it, which is we usually do over-the-knee hand spanking or belt or leather strap paddles.
But there's nothing like, we never actively seek a reason to have her get in trouble. It's just something that she, if it happens, then she knows the consequences. So it's a very straight, action consequence situation.
Well, what would define a sub? It is being on the bottom. It means being on the receiving end of pleasure and pain.
Submissive sexually, they're not just into spanking. They're BDSM is like bondage, discipline, sadism, and masochism.
Well, see, I guess to me, I never considered it a lifestyle.
Being completely tied up, bound, gagged, couldn't move, hung from the ceiling, had someone tickle me with a feather.
I enjoy pain. I get off on it. I get off on choking. Anything that kind of pushes you beyond what you can do.
Because I want to be hit and choked, and the being choked during sex I describe it as when you're taking away one of your senses, it heightens all those other senses, including when you orgasm. So it's definitely something to try.
But I'm also a pony girl, and that's a type of role playing where I become a human pony, but I'm a show pony. And I'm not really trained, or my handler is the owner, and it's one of those things, again, it's role playing and it's a fetish that I enjoy. I love the pony boots and the pony hooves and just the whole, I don't have to talk to anyone because I'm a pony girl, and learning your gaits and all that Spanish high step, and it's beautiful to me. It really is an art form.
I only did a little tied up, nothing crazy. Just kidnap scenarios.
I didn't really understand that there was a whole, I don't even know how to put it, a whole life around it. I just thought it was in the bedroom.
Do they beat me? Yes, but not severely. I don't go that far. The reaction is what gets them off.
I enjoy being spanked. The pain along with the pleasure is great. I recommend trying getting spanked if you've never been spanked before.
It's a thing that once you have your fix, whatever's going on in life, everything is in proper perspective.
I've seen blood play. Oh, quite a lot of it. Oh, by the end of that session, the whole room was just covered with blood. That was a little bit too strong for me, but that looked pretty crazy. It was quite interesting to watch.
We were fooling around one time in our bathroom, and I don't know what made him do it, but he opened the toilet seat completely, and he was fucking me from behind, and he literally bent me over to where I had my head just above the toilet. And you can smell the toilet water. Trust me, it does not smell good. That wasn't the worst of it. He then took the toilet brush, dipped it into the toilet, and held it over my head as he was fucking me. The weirdest part to me about that was as that happened, I came. But it's like I said, when you push yourself, you don't know what turns you on until it happens. You don't. And there's been plenty of times that my friends have contacted me knowing what I do for relationship advice. I don't know how often I get called for relationship advice. They never like my answer, but it's okay. But I always tell the same thing. If you just let go, you'd be amazed at what can turn you on and what you'd end up liking. And you never know.
Part of what I do is a great portion of it is based on self-discovery, learning more about myself.
The floor of the room was, covered with plastic just to keep everything clean. Were they experienced? Yes, both are experienced. They had done this before. The sub knew what she was getting into. She knew it was going to get bloody. The dom knew what she was getting into. They had obviously done this before, and it turned out quite safe. Oh, I'm sure it took a few days for those scars to heal.
There's been a few times where I felt that some of the steps I have taken were maybe a little bit outside even the traditions of what should be considered punishment and fetish.
2.
So I'm known for doing, it's like you take me here, I'm like, okay, no, let's go here. So I've got bruises right now from some stuff. So it's an everyday thing.
3.
Spanking and discipline is a big part of my life.
4.
I like to kind of show people about it. You know, we have tons of implements. I like to just kind of show people what it feels like.
5.
Because everyone gets so scared, and I like to show them that it can be playful and not just, you know, just discipline and serious, you know.
6.
It's more of a playful thing, and they like to get into the playful side of it.
So my goddess, she gave me this little slapper, and she also she introduced me to her slave who had been serving her many years. He was gorgeous and she was gorgeous, and she used to fuck him with a strap on, and I was really intrigued by that. I was like, really? Like, men do that? Well, he came into town, and she called me into the room, and she said, put that on. She used to call me Kitty. She said, Kitty, put that on. So I put it on, and I got really excited and really nervous. But I put it on, and there her slave was laying down, ass up, face down. And it was beautiful. And she was just laying there in her robe, just laying beside him. And he was completely naked. And so I strapped into this harness and got this big black cock on. It was awesome. And she's all, put it in.
I was in a switch spanking video with another girl, and she had to come to my house, and the role was I paid her to be my personal cat because I was allergic to cats. So she had me make her crawl around the floor and meow a little bit, and because she wasn't doing a good job, I had to spank her. So, she was doing a bad job of being a cat, and so I pulled her over my knee and I spanked her. And then she had to somehow switch it around on me where she had to spank me, and that was very different, making a girl crawl around and meow. I mean, that was very weird for me.
I had talked to the girl online, and it wasn't a long time that we talked, but we talked for a little while. And I brought up spanking to her and brought up discipline, and she hadn't heard of it before, but she was curious. And so we ended up meeting up at her house, and I hadn't actually gone into a full session before. I had just kind of seen people discipline or spank. So it was definitely an awkward situation for a first time, but I kind of just took her over my knee and did what I saw on some of the videos I had watched and spanked her. It was definitely a learning experience, and it was very formative for me.
By the way, when I got it in his ass, I totally choked and I froze. And I unstrapped and unbuckled everything, and I just ran out of the room, and I left the dick hanging out of his ass. And, it took like 2 or 3 attempts for me to really be able to follow through with it. But it was awesome. I so wanted it bad, but, I freaked, whatever.
Blood play involves, blood. The sub is there. Well, they drilled holes in her. They put bolts into her skin. They laced up part of her skin with turkey needles, kind of like a turkey. They cut into her. They sliced different parts of her body. And by the end of that session, it's good that they had that plastic on the floor because the place was just covered with blood.
Actually, there has been a time that I've gotten scared, and it has been